Think about your sun sign for a moment. It carries the characteristics, the energy of your purpose in this lifetime. It's your yang expression of that and your yang energy. Now, likewise, the moon and the zodiac sign that it's in for you carries the emotional and intuitive intelligence to fulfill that purpose. So that is your yin energy, your receptive energy. So obviously those two energies are coupled. They work together to bring us the phases of the moon. This week we're going into the last or the third quarter phase of the moon, which is going to be in Capricorn. So we have, since the first week of spring is marked by the sun moving into the sign of fiery Aries, we have the sun in fire in Aries, and we will have the moon exact angle, 90-degree angle to that, the moon in earthy Capricorn. So those are not compatible elements, and so they bring us a crisis which we can use as a turning point in our lives. So this week, that crisis with the third quarter square is about staying authentic in your purpose, in the goals that you are working on right now in your lifetime. So you know how in life we can get a lot of input from other people. It's often good to get feedback, sure, but we can lose in that process our true authentic self. In other words, this week, you want to examine your goals to make sure they are really in line with what you truly want to be doing in this lifetime. Hi, I'm Judith Royal, archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for March 25th to 31st, 2019. In addition to the last quarter moon this Wednesday, which is March the 27th, we have three other major events this week in our astrology. We have Venus, the goddess of love, moving into the sign of Pisces, the home of empathy and unconditional love and compassion. A beautiful place where Venus loves to be. This is sort of that Venus on the half shell rising from the sea. So she begins that journey this Tuesday, March 26th. And then we can say, thank the Lord, Mercury goes direct this week. That'll be this Thursday, March 28th. And you can expect Mercury still in Pisces oceans. You can expect some sparkling synchronicities to fall on your path because during the retrograde phase, Mercury has turned our thoughts and our ideas inward. We've taken those deep dives into our own treasure chest, our Davy Jones locker. And so now you're going to see what you have brought to the surface because it will show up as some little sparkling synchronicities, coincidences that will be on your path. There are things that are coming up for review because we're really not done with the Mercury retrograde phase, which has been very potent this time. We are not done until April 16th, which is when Mercury will be back in the exact same place he was before he went retrograde. So in other words, that's the completed cycle. And so that closes the loop. And then we will really feel Mercury going forward. We'll really feel our ideas and the things we've gathered during the retrograde phase are ready to take action. We're ready to take action on them and put them into the outer world. And then Saturday of this week, March 30th, we have another astrological event when the warrior Mars moves from Taurus, where he's been hanging out with the god of lightning. So we've had a lot of action sparked by surprises and unusual events. But now Mars will be in the air sign of Gemini. And so there will be a plethora of ideas. You will be multitasking, whether you actually can or not, right? But that is Gemini's field. Those of you who have a Sun or Mars or Moon in Gemini, you are actually able to do a lot of multitasking. The rest of us just sort of bumble along overwhelmed. But in any case, we get to take a very deep breath. In fact, it would be good to take 3 thoughtful, aware, deep breaths and break any anger, any frustration that has come with you while we were sort of swimming underwater and stuck in the Taurus rut. So now that will really move forward. And I want to go back now and say that the other thing this last quarter phase moon this week is doing, because it is in Capricorn, and so that is the home sign for Saturn, for Sheriff Saturn, and he is sitting there. So when the moon goes into Capricorn, of course, she's going to trigger those big umbrella energies that all of us are under, namely the powerful dismantling of old ideas, of old presumptions, old structures, because they are crumbling and dying. This is a time of breakdown so that later we can rebuild and repair. And it is affecting us on the level of the economy as well, because Sheriff Saturn is in here, and of course his sobriety checkpoints, he's I think laying down more and more, but we are seeing the result. It's not that his checkpoints are about alcohol or drugs, although that's good too, but it's really about focusing. It's about going the long haul with perseverance. So we've had a lot of, we had 7 years of the god of lightning and fire, and we were a bit in a hurry to get things done, to get change going, etc. And so we made some jumps to conclusions that didn't have a ground to stand on, so to speak. But now we do, and by the end of this year, 2019, we will be in a brand new 33-year cycle that has to do with the transformations, the metamorphosis that we have been experiencing personally, because we are headed to a place where we no longer are satisfied with the old paradigm that we are somehow separate, that I can do something in my life and it won't affect you. We are moving towards a civilization of global citizens, and we're defying right now the old borders that would separate us. It just won't hold anymore. And I think, isn't that a beautiful thing? As we stand up and claim our personal power, the power of our voice, but most especially the power of our thoughts to create the world of our choosing. And when we step in that combination of just tremendous determination to be free of old paradigms, like the one that we are in the midst of now, between 2 Libra full moons and the emphasis on relationships, that the old paradigm that we have to go look for love, that somehow we have to do something different about ourselves, dress ourselves up in some way that we are deserving of happiness. Those old paradigms have been running us in the ground and making us believe we are somehow little, when in fact we are magnificent spirits with incredible power to affect change in the world by affecting change in our thoughts. And so what is the premise, the old paradigm under the fact that we think we can be lonely and alone, that we think we can be undeserving of love? And it is the belief in separation. So in this world of duality, we have to challenge that there is an us and them. And we're seeing it in metaphor with the struggle with borders, right? Especially here in the United States. Who can we fence in and who are we fencing out? So many people have told me how they have such deep empathy and compassion and feel the pain of those people who are in Mexico. They're languishing at the border to the United States. So we are one. What is happening with them is happening with us. And we don't have to find love or seek happiness because we already have it. We just have to dismantle the walls that we have built to hide behind, walls that prevent us from seeing that the love and the happiness is actually already all around us. How easy is that? The power of your choice to be happy quickens your dreams and empowers their right to be born. Because happiness is the juice, the elan vital, of spontaneous morphogenesis. In other words, your right to shape your own destiny. And it's helpful to watch those signs so that we stay on the path. So last week, the first of the 2 Libra full moons, we had the first one last week. And what did you notice that came up for you about being a loving soul, giving and receiving love in your relationships? So there were events that showed you how you can embrace a new paradigm. I've had quite a few clients come to me for a reading recently who are in a relationship that is not happy. And they're looking for the stars to shed some light on that, of course. When we take a close look at the differences of some of their charts as well as the similarities, we then can move to the fact of acceptance, that it's just a way to be. And it's in our birth chart, so it is our choice for this lifetime. And together we look at the cycles of both renewal and completion. In some relationships, we see the timing as such that it is done, it's complete. In others, it's making a cry for a new paradigm to be brought into the relationship. As I was making notes to talk to you about this today, I grabbed a piece of scratch paper, and it was only later that I noticed that there was already on it a quote that was precisely the answer or the enlightenment of the questions I was asking and putting before you. So let me share it with you. I love you because you are helping me to make of the lumber of my life not a tavern but a temple. Out of the works of my everyday, not a reproach but a song. And that was written by Roy Croft. And so take this Pisces energy that we are moving from this week and infuse those dreams of yours with your intense emotion, because that's what gives it power. And at the time of this last quarter moon, prune away or weed out of the garden of your mind everything that does not contribute to that dream. That's not magic, but that is how dreams come true. And write it down, because next week, on April the 5th, we're going to have a new moon in Aries, so very powerful fire for creation and creativity. And you can then formulate your intention to support this dream. If you'd like some help reading the stars that are shining light on your relationships, you can always get in touch with me for an individual reading. Judith@judithroyal.com. Just shoot me an email. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.